Did you know that communication is the highest paying skill set in the entire world? People who have better communication skills attract higher quality partners, and second of all, they get even more friends in their lives. And as a result of both of these things, they live a much happier lives. If you don't know me, my name is Martin. I've been studying charisma and communication for 3 years straight. I'm about to expose the most important habits when it comes to communication skills so you can get everything I have just mentioned. So because I don't want to waste your time, I have already created a framework, and this is the framework of communication. As you can see, it looks like a person. It looks like a genuine person. So that's how you can easily remember this entire framework. As you can see, our speech is constructed through 5 core principles: your volume, your rate of speech, your melody, your tonality, and finally your pauses. I'm gonna explain all of these. I'm gonna explain how you can get better in every single one of them so you can become a much more magnetic communicator. Let's start with the first one, and that is volume. Volume is really important for 2 most important things. First one is that if you have high levels of volume, people will usually never interrupt you, and second of all, people will listen much more clearly to your message because you speak with high levels of volume. So let me break down the volume even further. I want water, bro. The most important thing when it comes to volume is to have high levels of volume. For example, if you can imagine someone speaking on a 1 out of 10 volume. 1 out of 10 volume would be something like this. Hello, my name is Martin, nice to meet you. What is your name? I have been studying charisma and social skills. Doesn't look very credible, does it? If I were to start my video and started saying, hello, my name is Martin, would you think that I'm some credible authority when it comes to charisma and social skills? Probably no. So that's why when we want to convey authority and credibility, we need to play a bigger version of ourselves. Don't think about this as putting on a mask, because this is not putting on a mask. We need to think about this like a gear on a car. Do you know when you have that lever inside your car, and it has those multiple different gears like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then the reverse? We need to be able to use all the gears inside our voice. So I don't want you to think this is putting on a mask, because that's just retarded. Slowly but surely, if you practice this enough, you will be able to get all the gears that you want, and you will be able to master your vocal understanding, like just using the lever on the car and just changing gears. When to use low levels of volume, but also when to use high levels of volume. For example, if you are telling a presentation, that is the time to use high levels of volume, so you will make sure that everyone understands you and that everyone hears your voice. Because if you can imagine someone on the stage and they are being like, you cannot understand them. You don't know what these people are even saying. And every single one of us knows these people. Every single one of us knows them. Instead of ending up like them and conveying no authority, no credibility, boost your volume up, maybe to 8 out of 10. That would help you with your credibility and with your authority like crazy. But when we should use low levels of volume, it's either when we are on a 101 with someone. So if you can imagine you with a person just sitting on a coffee table, you are not gonna be on 8 out of 10 probably. Because that's gonna be real loud. You're probably gonna be on 6 or 5 just to understand and use some empathy towards the other person. So a simple trick to understand is when the room is bigger, when there is a bigger audience, we need to make the bigger version of ourselves come into reality and show everyone how great and authoritative we are. And to display the credibility even further, that's when our volume will skyrocket to maybe 8 out of 10 or 9 out of 10, so everyone can hear us. When we are on a one-on-one with someone, we're probably not gonna use the 8 out of 10 voice, because that just sounds sometimes goofy. Imagine friend coming to you and, yeah bro, nice to meet you. Hello bro! We are probably not gonna do that. That's one way where we can use a very calm and more chill levels of volume. And second of all, it's when we need to convey something very important. Remember, if you want to become a better communicator, all of this has to shift. You cannot stay on a default rate of speech. You cannot stay on a default 8 out of 10 volume, because then the people can understand the patterns. And that's the reason why we need to alternate between all the gears right here. We need to alternate and make people feel unexpected sometimes and just sometimes change our rate of speech. So people will not get bored when we are speaking. We need to entertain them and become better communicators. The low levels of volume also can be used when you are saying something very important. Now I'm on an 8 out of 10 volume, I'm just explaining something, but when I truly want you to listen is when I will make my voice go a little bit below the level 5, and I will make it seem like this message is truly important, even though it is not. You can imagine some campaign where the person is saying, you should not smoke, guys. The reasons why we should not smoke is blah 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 blah. He will list all the points on 8 out of 10 volume, and then my grandmother died out of lung cancer because she was smoking. And suddenly that made you listen so hard because I have changed the levels of volume through 8, 8, 8, this is 8 out of 10, 8 out of 10, 8 out of 10, blah, 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 blah. And then my grandmother died because of lung cancer. You can feel the change, and that's how you can become a better communicator when it comes to volume. Let's move to the second one, the rate of speech. The rate of speech can be also rated from 1 all the way up to 10. You can imagine someone with a very quick rate of speech will be someone like Eminem. You cannot even properly understand what the other person is saying. But someone with a rate of speech of 1 is probably really boring. My name is... I'm gonna spare you the boredom. How can we have the best rate of speech? Again, this needs to be alternated between our speaking patterns. When we want to say something, but it's not really that important. Imagine just saying some story, but you just want to get really quickly over some non-important details. You can then use a quicker rate of speech, something like 8 out of 10, to get rid of the unimportant information. But when, and this is when we will combine the low levels of volume with low level of rate of speech to make someone listen. That's when we will combine a low volume with a low rate of speech. Because if you suddenly start talking on a 3 out of 10 rate of speech, something is different. You feel like you should be listening to the thing that I'm telling you. It feels like a secret. Hey bro, listen, I don't really want to say this to anyone else, but you should subscribe to the channel if you are enjoying the video. That's how you can use the rate of speech. Just to know that you have to alternate it, because just imagine will be a speaker on the stage, and this speaker, for the love of God, just stays on the singular rate of speech, and he's not alternating from there. And that's when we need to change our rate of speech and skip over the non-important details and not let our audience get bored, because when that will happen, you lost everybody. You lost everybody and nobody's listening to you now. But if you sometimes change it and let it sit on a really low level, that's when people will sometimes listen to you. That is the rate of speech. It has to be alternated. 10 is used for being able to skip over non-important details, get to the point fast, but 1 is used with the low level of volume to convey the important information. You can imagine something like this. I have been on a forest with a lot of my friends, but then suddenly a huge bear attacked us. Skipping over the non-important details, we were in the forest, blah blah. A huge bear attacked us. That's the time. Let's move to another one. The melody, the problem with the modern society. That's the melody, because you can imagine that a lot of people are wearing the resting bitch face. And you can also add to melody pitch. Pitch and melody are probably the same thing, because it is the vocal foundations. Again, I'm gonna make it through 1 out of 10, so you will all understand better. Pitch and melody, 1 is something like, hello. Hello, my name is Mickey Mouse. And that is a 1 out of 10 pitch. That could be the Mickey Mouse one. But then, what is 10 out of 10? 10 out of 10, you can imagine a really masculine man. Someone with huge muscles. someone who is talking very, very deeply about the things he's passionate about. That would be a 10 out of 10. The best way how to make this come into reality is if you want to say something funny, alternate between those pitches. Imagine if there was a dog right there and he was shitting and I was like, dude, why the fuck is that dog shitting there? Like, what even is that? Not really that interesting. But if I come, why the fuck is that dog pissing there, bro? What the fuck? Oh, he started even shitting, bro. What the fuck? Suddenly much different. Use this when it comes to telling jokes, because then people will not anticipate your sudden pitch shift. Oh my god, bro, I thought that dog was gonna just piss and now he's not even cheating. That's where you can use the 1 out of 10 pitch, and then the 10 you can also use it when you want to convey some message, and especially you should use 10 when you want to feel assertive, when you want to feel the respect. You can imagine if you would be talking the whole day on 1 out of 10, your voice will be really girl-like. Girls can get away with this, by the way. But if you are a man and if you use this high pitch volume, even though you are not telling jokes, you are just using it as your default, that's when it becomes annoying. That's when people will realize, dude, who is this person? I don't want to talk to them. He talks like a little bitch. And they will disrespect you. But this is when the 10 out of 10 volume will come in. Oh, no, sorry, no volume, pitch. If you don't want to get disrespected by people, the best time is to pull up your deep voice. That is the best time, because that shows to people that you stand by your opinion. Suddenly you are listening now. Because I used the high levels of pitch and melody. It makes the message come across as much more assertive, like you truly mean that what you are saying. And that's when we can change this. Of course, there are no rules when it comes to communication, because the whole idea is to combine the whole body to create the head, to create the right arm, the left leg and the right leg, and make the whole body. You can play with them. Imagine like a piano. Yes, to every song that you have some sort of framework, but to make a beautiful song, someone had to be creative first. Someone had to come up with the entire song. And that's why you are using all of these tools to your advantage, to create the specific, the ultimate special speaking pattern that is interesting towards your personality. And that's what we need to use. We need to understand all of them, get all the levels into our own mind, and then we use them to become the best speaker there is. But the most important thing, alternate. Alternate between everything. Because if you don't alternate between everything, that's when your audience will get bored and they will stop watching you. And we don't want that to happen. So lastly, on pitch, change it, slightly shift it. And when you will shift it, that's when people will start to listen to you, because they will not be able to understand your speaking pattern. And the 1 is best for telling jokes, 10 is the best one for being assertive. Now let's move to tonality. You can also think of tonality as your facial expressions. If your facial expressions are not there, but you have volume, you have rate of speech, you have pitch and melody, it will look something like this. My name is Martin, and today I'm gonna show you one of the most important things when it comes to charisma and social skills. I think I should now alternate my rate of speech to be a little bit faster, to skip over unimportant details, but now I should slow down. There is something missing. There is something missing. Even when I'm using all the rate of speech, all the volumes, all the downs and lows, all the pitch and melodies, still there is one thing missing, and that the one thing are your emotions. If you cannot display all the that's the problem, because then people will not think of you as a real human being. The big elephant in the entire room is that we men have this fucking problem. Because we have been conditioned to walk on the street like a cold Sigma male. No matter who you ask, they would rather spend time with a much more positive person than a cold retard. Because we men think, oh, if I now do this face, she will like me. And they think about these cold faces with no emotions. But if you just smile at her, she'll like you much more. It's science. This is literally science. If you smile at somebody, their brain releases endorphins, which is a hormone that makes someone feel loved and appreciated. By just smiling at someone, their brain releases a chemical that makes them feel loved. It's science. So if you are really smart, you can use this as your main advantage. But I'm not telling you to start crying all of a sudden and become emotional. No, no. The idea is to convey your message through emotions. You see my hand movements. I am using my hands to convey the emotion in a much more entertaining way, so the people will listen to me even further, because I don't want to lose my listeners. That's why I'm using my hands even further. That is a part of tonality also, because I'm first of all using my facial expressions, and second of all I'm using my hands. But if I lose my hands, if I lose my tonality, suddenly I become a robot, and I don't want you to end up in that situation. So I'm gonna tell you exactly how you can make this even better. Embrace your emotions. I know, really unpopular opinion for men these days, especially even in the space that I'm in, the self-improvement, the stoic mindset. Yes, all the stoic mindset are great, but we need to become a better communicators. And becoming a better communicator is not about you being like this. My name is Martin, and today I'm gonna show you how you can become the best version of... Nobody cares. Everybody will think that you are a robot. And at the end, I'm gonna also show you a special exercise how you can make all of these things come into reality and learn them in a much better way. But tonality, become emojis. Use all the facial expressions at your disposal and use them to captivate listeners. We will never crumble under the pressure of these disgusting, absolutely horrendous dictators who are above us. We will never crumble, and we will keep on fighting until we will dethrone these stupid losers. That made you feel something, because the emotion was inside me and I could convey it even further. And finally, the last thing is pauses. If you don't use pauses, you're gonna miss out on a lot of things. I'm putting my hands up here like I'm being sentenced to jail, because pauses are single-handedly the most important thing when it comes to communication. It's not volume, it's not radio speech, it's not melody, tonality. Yes, all those things together might destroy pauses, and it is because of three things. Can't even spell at this point. These three things make pauses the strongest communication habit there is. Let's talk about the first one. If I pause, suddenly you can understand what I have just said. I was in a forest with a lot of girls, and then a huge bear attacked us. Now your brain started processing the information that I have just said, and that's why pauses are super important. Second of all, when you pause, you will be able to think about a word that you want to say next. So first of all, it makes your audience understand what you have just said, and second of all, you get time to think about what you want to say next. If I, for example, lose my words, I can think for a second, for 2 or 3 seconds, and get my words back together. For example, if you don't know what to say next, you have no bullet points, that's the time where you can pause for 2 or 3 seconds, and that's the time where you will speak. But, a huge but here. People might think, oh, will it be weird if I pause for 2 or 3 seconds? Listen, it is not weird if you not make it weird. If someone asks you, why are you pausing like that? You can just say, listen, I would like to give this conversation as much value as possible. That's why I am pausing, because I am thinking about the best value I can give to you. Nobody's gonna get mad at that. Nobody's gonna be like, no, dude, don't give me value. Get the fuck out of here. Nobody's gonna be like that. So if someone asks you, why are you pausing for so long? Just say you want to give value to the conversation, and nobody's gonna get mad at you. On the other hand, they might even respect you because you value your word and you are not just blabbering like everyone else. And final thing. Bruh. That's a horrible checkmark, I'm gonna rewrite that. The idea of pauses will reduce the filler words that you use. Being comfortable in the silence makes you understand that the silence is not the threat, but the filler words are. People who are presenting to other people and they are not comfortable in the silence will use words like, so, you know, I guess, and these words reduce your credibility immensely. Imagine at the start of the video, I was like, yeah, guys, I am a special, charisma expert, and in today's video, I'm gonna show you, great credible tricks and tips. Like, you would not believe that I'm an authority if you saw me, you would not think that I'm an authority in that space. So that's what pauses do. They would just eliminate your filler words, because you are comfortable in the silence and you are thinking about what you're gonna say next. And when I named all of these three, you probably think, holy shit, poses are crazy. They are. They are. If you are starting your communication skills journey, 100%, they are so powerful. But now, I told you that I would give you an exercise how to make every single one of these 10 times, maybe 100 times better. This singular thing is called the siren method. If you take a book, you have to start reading from this book and you have to practice one of these 5 skills intentionally. And you have to use it like a siren. When you hear a siren from a police car, it goes like whoa, 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 whoa. And that's how we need to read the book. I have this book in the Slovak language, so you will not understand it, but I'm gonna give you a practical example. The siren method on volume will work something like this. And then a huge person starts to show up, and then he slowly but surely came to us, and then he slowly but surely even further and further came to us, but then suddenly I got really, really scared. You'll just alternate between the volume curve like this. And the graph of you speaking should look like something like this. The same with rate of speech. And then this suddenly happened, and that's with the rate of speech. With melody and pitch is like and with tonality it's your emotions. And then suddenly this guy, he came to us, and then suddenly, and then he pulled up a very nice kitty from his bag. And finally there are pauses. Suddenly a huge man showed up. He was big, strong, but he had no hair. And by the way, if you want to become the most charismatic version of yourself and you are really interested in the social skills, I have created a special 6-month-old program where I will take you through a Actually, no, fuck it, not a 6-month-old program. I'm gonna make it a 3-month program for you, because I want you to get there fast. I'm gonna make you the most charismatic version of yourself in 3 months. You will learn the special strategy, the social yin-yang, the unfair advantage. The dark side is being yourself, being assertive, being respectful, and not getting other people under your skin, and not caring what other people think about you. But on the other hand, you will also be the light side, the charismatic, the understanding person, the one that knows how to listen properly and understand people's ideas. And if you combine the dark side with the light side, you'll be able to achieve charisma mastery. You also get access to a full community of people who are just like you, who want to improve their charisma and social skills. You'll get weekly calls with me, where you and me can hop on a weekly call and we can discuss charisma and social skills together. And lastly, you get access to 30+ hours of courses and lectures made by me about charisma, social skills, confidence, first impressions, millions of different stuff. So if you are interested in this 3-month-old program, where I will make you the most charismatic version of yourself, and I myself will become your charisma coach, click the first link in the description. I will see you there. And if you also want to know how to become charismatic like Hannibal Lecter, you should click this video right here. Live a happy life. Yeah.